Okay guys, I just took out my oil pump finally after getting this stupid crank sprocket off. I don't know why, but this thing was like completely rusted on. I had to use two different gear pullers just because one didn't pull it out enough. And yeah, I also managed to break off one of the tabs right there. So I'm gonna have to replace this. But yeah, so I finally got the oil pump off, and it looks like my oil pressure light was on due to the fact that there were screws backing out. As you can see here, I did not touch those at all. So obviously, that was causing the oil pressure. I did originally change the oil pan strainer, which sucked because I could not get the engine up high enough. For Subaru engines, you need to jack up the engine a little bit in order to take the oil pan. I also changed out the oil pressure switch. That didn't work, so that led me to taking this off and doing a timing belt while I'm at it. As you can see here, this is all the pulleys, and there's a timing belt there. That's the water pump, which I also took off at the same time. Gotta take off the little bottom part. Probably not going to replace the oil pump because I'm pretty sure it's doing fine. It's just the screws backing out. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on them, and then put it back in. Here's the new seal. And I think the seal that was in there before is actually like a little bit, it was probably not the right one actually. If you look here, the new one's a little bit thicker, and when I was trying to pry it out, there was a little bit of play. I tried prying it out with this wrench. I used a round end just to prevent scratching on the pump, but when I pulled it out like this, the other side actually went in further, so like that, when I was prying this side up. So I'm pretty sure they were not using the right size. So gotta lube it up and then hit this back in, put it back on the engine after Loctiting the back screws. I'm probably gonna buy a new one of this because I banged up the gears. Or getting a new one. Alright, so this is the crankshaft. The oil pump was here. So this thing is called a Woodruff key. Basically, it's a little slit in the crankshaft, and then a little metal tab goes in, and that keeps the gears from turning on the shaft. Yeah, so mine snapped off inside, so there's one little corner of it stuck in there. It's currently soaking in penetrating oil. Hopefully it'll loosen it up a bit. Yeah, so I took this off. There's black RTV on it. I had to use a gear puller to get it through. I don't know why. Like honestly, the sprocket just slid right off. It didn't it didn't pop or anything like that. So I don't know what's up with that. Alright, so finally got the key to come off. The thing that was stuck inside. Put a new one in, new sprocket, new pulleys, new water pump. Put in the oil pump with new seals, new crankshaft seal, new camshaft seal, and new timing belt. Everything should be timed correctly, as you can see there. Sorry about the dizziness. So yeah, we shall see if this starts. Alright, let's check it out. There is no coolant in the engine right now. I'm just gonna start it to see if timing's alright. Turn off real quick. Alright, let's go. And it's not starting. Alright, so after another couple days, I figured out that I actually put on the cam pulleys on backwards. I thought there's markings on the pulleys that say left and right. I thought it was left and right if you were facing the front of the car, but instead it's when you're in the driver's seat, it's left and then right on that side. So I put them on backwards. The actual right pulley doesn't have tabs on the back of it for the camshaft position sensor, but the left one does. So when I was starting my car, it couldn't tell the cam position and it wouldn't put in the fuel. I tested it and I wasn't getting spark. So if that happens to you guys, just test for spark. If you're not getting spark, then that's probably some kind of electrical issue. either a sensor or your coil pack just kind of died. So now everything's back together, everything's tightened, literally put everything back on except the accessory pulley cover and the timing belt cover, because mine broke when I took them off, so I gotta order new ones. But here you go. Starts right up. I was driving this around before, so engine's already warm. As you can see, no oil pressure light anymore. Even at lowest RPMs. I believe I got down to 700 RPMs at idle. And yeah, still no oil pressure light, so it definitely was that oil pump. Among other things, I also had to repair a flat tire. Took it into the shop just to get it repaired today. And so now this car is completely drivable, finally. Plans for this car, I have a set of front WRX seats from a 2002, I believe. So I'm going to be putting those in, getting rid of these old gross seats. Probably just going to do a clean. You don't really want to see the back of my car. Yeah, kind of gross. I will clean this up, and I'll see you guys next time.